Good afternoon, friends, family members, whoever's watching. This is Miss Margaret coming to you, saying that this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, well, it's a Saturday afternoon, and I'm sitting out here on my patio. It's not too bad out here. I thought it was really hot, but it's not really hot. They're saying it's going to be, uh, somebody said it was going to be 100 degrees or whatever. But it feels pretty comfortable out here to me right now, and it's about, oh, it's almost 2 o'clock, but it doesn't feel bad out here at all to me. And so I'm just sitting out here observing my garden and seeing what's going on with it. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Um, I think that little cool off helped it a little bit. My relish looks like they've come back to life. And so anyway, but I'm sitting here. What I wanted to kind of share this afternoon with you is, you know, I don't know. It's a lot of things that happens in our families, and we all have. Everybody's got things that they're dealing with in their lives, in their family, or on their job. And right now, we have a combination of a lot of things going on. Racial unrest and a pandemic that's still out alive and well, and some people are dealing with economics and loss of job or loss of hours or whatever, and a lot of people are just under a lot of stress. And I believe I was sharing with you yesterday that sometimes we just need to take the time to breathe, and sometimes we just need to. And again, I think that's a word, that we need to breathe. We need to take some time to examine ourselves. And all of us have flaws. All of us have problems. All of us, we need to do self-examinations and do some self-care. Self-care, when I say that, I mean, uh, relaxing our mind and our emotions. And right now, I believe a lot of people are tense and uptight about a lot of issues. And I think it was statistics that were saying domestic violence was going on all over the place. And people are just on edge. And we're still in a pandemic situation, and people just need to be able to just not be getting all out right now, and turn the radio, the TV off, because it's a lot of it's just stressful. And I think right now, and some people may disagree with me, and that's okay, but I personally think that a lot of people are under uh, the traumatic stress syndrome. And the reason why I say that, because we have witnessed some things that some people just have not witnessed before. I mean, we had that George Floyd murder that happened right before our eyes. We saw someone, the life just went right out of them. And then prior to that, you're watching and hearing the statistic of people dying, and nurses coming online and concerned because people are dying and they can't help them and they don't have their family with them. And that has been stressful, and a lot of people were pent up, couldn't go back to work, you know. It's just people is somewhat losing it. And people are angry. People are angry. People are frustrated. People are fearful because they don't know what's going to happen. And I think your body can only take so much stress. And you got to know what to do with that stress. And I always encourage you, you need to get somewhere. I don't know if you're a praying person, if you believe it. We know we can always go and take things to God in prayer. But then there's also a time where we need to get it out or talk it out. You need a counselor or someone. And a lot of people reject the fact that some people may need therapists. Well, I don't. I think that you do. You do need, because we are three part. We are uh, spirit, soul, and body. Our spirit man is good. Our spirit man, our soulish person, which is our mind, our will, and our emotions. And that soulish part of us, you know, needs to be ministered to. Our spirit man as well. And if your spirit man is not built up, then your soulish man or your physical man, will is trying to carry everything. And when you carry a lot in your soul, in your mind, your will, and your emotion, it causes certain chemicals to react in your body. And that's when you have physical and health breakdowns. I mean, it's been proven. Now you can ignore scientific studies and all of that if you want to, but we are three-part people. And yes, if your spirit man is built up, then you know how to handle. But everybody's not on the same level with their spirituality. I think if your spirit man is built up, your spirit will be in control of your soulish realm, and it tell your body what to do. But y'all know our physical man, we have a problem resisting sugar or coffee or whatever it is that you like. Our spirit man will say, you don't need that. But that flesh is saying, I want that, I want that, I want that. And then if your spirit man is not strong enough, your emotion will go out of control. And I see that that's really what's happening. So if you need to have some therapy, fine, but you need to be able to talk some things out, get somewhere and pray, whatever it is that you need to do, exercise or listen to music or go for a walk or speak with a counselor. I know that sometimes that's expensive, and a lot of people don't feel comfortable telling anybody about, their personal life. But some kind of way, you have to find that place or find something or someone to where you can release it. I thank God for prayer, and I'm a praying woman, and I believe you can take everything to God in prayer. And if you stay in there and you pray and you begin to read the Word and listen to inspirational messages and everything, that's therapy to me. But I really do encourage you to do that. And the other thing that, and some of us, people don't want you to, sometimes all you need is they just want you to listen. We can't fix it, but if you can just listen, give me an ear and just listen and hear me out. Sometimes that's all we need, you know. And many people are anguished and they're upset and they mad because of life situation, and then they want you to be mad, and they get mad at you because you're not emotionally wrecked or tore up or whatever, and so you won't engage with them, so they get upset with you. So we have to be careful. We have to find that place, um, and there's spirits, there's real spirits out here. The enemy, he doesn't care. He'll catch you at your weakest point and use it against you. And the slightest thing, will set you off. And you know, but sometimes find something to do that's constructive, you know. And I tell everybody, find something to do with your hands, get creative in making something or growing something or fixing something or cleaning something, to keep your mind occupied and not just dwelling on the negative. And one of the things that uh, there's some things that you know, women, I'm trying to see how I want to say this. There are a lot of people are alone, and during this time, you've had relationships, they're stressed, the relationships are stressed. And husbands and wives may be, you know, snapping and biting at each other, you know. Or the kids may be getting on your nerves and you start snapping and biting on them. One of the things I do want to say this, and this is to adults. And we have a lot of immature adults that's stressed out, relationships have gone bad, and they're there with their children and they're talking and telling their children and discussing issues with the kids that they have absolutely no business doing it. All you do is hurt the child in the long run. And I realize and I understand that hurt people. But if you care anything about your family, if you care anything about your children, you don't you can't just tell them everything, specifically when it comes to um, relationships between you and your spouse or you and your mate or whoever. And you go and you badmouth that to the kids. The kids can see, but they don't need you pouring out your poison on them. They don't need you spewing out your venom on them because you're hurt, you're mad, you're angry, you know, and then you tell these kids that and share things that intimate, personal, private things that these kids should not be hearing. And eventually they'll resent you for it in the long run. But because you're hurting, you got to find someone else that's mature enough. A teenager's mind or young people's mind, they're not equipped to deal with the trauma. We're already dealing with stress syndrome, stress, stress trauma syndrome. We're already dealing with enough. And then when you start pouring out your anger and your madness and your resentment and your frustration and your rejection and nobody loves me and nobody cares about me and this one did this to me and that one, and you start telling that to kids, you are wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, and you're going to be held accountable for it. And I've noticed that happens a lot. I'm talking to men and women. If you mad at your boo, you don't go and tell your children because your children is torn. That tears them up. And most children, they really don't want to take sides, but you put them in a corner. You force them to take sides because they don't want to hurt. But if one can badmouth the other and you want them to take your side, you're ripping them apart, and it's wrong. I don't care who you are. Men, if you're talking about your baby's mama, you're hurting your child. Mama, if you're talking about daddy, to them kids, you are wrong and you need to be quiet. And God's going to hold you accountable to it. He's going to hold you accountable to it and for it. Going to hold you accountable for it because you can warp and you can warp their spirit. The Bible tells us to do not provoke your children to wrath. And if you turn that thing to where your children only have wrath and animosity toward their parent, whether it's the mother or the father, you are doing, I call it abuse. It's child abuse, period. I don't care who you are. It's child abuse when you do that. It is child abuse. And I think it's wrong. Go get you a therapist. If you need to talk it out, if you're mad or something, go find someone that's neutral. Go talk to a pastor or a confident friend, but you don't talk to your children about mess like that. And I see too much of it going on, and it's damaging. And I hear the story, and it's damaging. And I've watched it. So I just want to say that during it's a time to get just if you're not a believer, I really don't know what to tell you other than try to get you get you some counseling. And even if you are a believer and you can't seem to get a balance in your emotion, you need to see somebody. Absolutely. And people don't want to argue with you. People are tired. They got enough on their plate already. And some people you need to get past. Some things we have to grow up. We have to grow up. Some things we just gonna have to let. I gotta let this thing go, because if I don't, it's gonna wear me out. It'll wear me out. So, and I've learned to take everything to the Lord in prayer and get in my word and read books. And, you know, if I need to go to a therapist, I have gone to a therapist, needed to go, because I was dealing with stress on my job and in my home. I've had to do that so I could keep my sanity, but not, not be throwing and spewing out venom every time I open my mouth, because I'm so full of hate and anger and unforgiveness and bitterness and rage and wrath. And I see that every day, and my heart cries out. And so I pray and say, Lord, help us, heal us. We need to be healed. You think you all right? No. Because if all that stuff is coming out of you every day and you're giving it to your kids, you're doing a disservice. Like I said, it's considered child abuse. It really is. And some parents take their frustration out on their kids. And that's wrong. It's wrong. And I don't care what nobody say. It's wrong all day long. Sometimes you just say, I need somebody to pray for me because I'm about to flip out. You know, and do that. But So anyway, I just wanted to come on and say that. I'm sitting out here, and I've been in prayer all day. Like I said, we're dealing with so much stuff going on in our nation. But I still thank God for his peace, his shalom peace that he gives me. And sometimes it's so hard, and you hear so much, and you see so much, and I'm at this point where I'm saying, Lord, this is a job for Jesus. Because I can't fix everything, and I can't fix everybody. And sometimes, and I've said this before, I had to learn, sometimes you just got to let things be broke. It's broke. I don't know how to fix it. This is a God deal. Because the more I mess around with it, the worse it gets. And sometimes some people say, well, let me just cuss you out. And you see that, I see stuff posted on, folks get online, and they start cussing people out and using all kind of profanity and calling people names and all kind of crazy foolishness. And I'm like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Have mercy, Lord. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? It's just going to be broke. I'm not trying to fix it, because all the cussing out, all of that would just make things even worse. So, anyway, you just got to sometimes just let some things be. Let it be. Let God fix it. When he does it, he'll fix it well. Because you can try to hurt somebody, and that ain't going to fix the problem. In fact, it may just magnify it, and you have more problems on your hand than you had in the beginning. So let God be God. So I'm just going to end this right now.